Alright guys, this is my almost 1 year review of my AAC MPW 9-inch 300 Blackout. This upper receiver is from AAC. It's the 8-inch MPW, of course. Spike Tactical Lower, SPR, all that good shit. Basically, this is just a review or an overview. I shouldn't say review, overview of if you're thinking about getting into the 300 Blackout cartridge for an AR-15. This is just some of my thoughts that I have and something to think about before going into 300 Blackout in general. In my honest opinion, now this is just my opinion, okay, so you can take it with a grain of salt, is that if you're not planning on throwing a suppressor on your 300 Blackout, you're pretty much doing yourself a great disservice if you're just going to go to 300 Blackout, unless you just want to shoot more expensive ammunition compared to something like 5.56. Okay. I got the upper receiver from cheaperthandirt.com. Anyways, Cheaper Than Dirt has been known to do some pretty grimy shit in the past politically, selling freaking PMags for like $85, which is bullshit, and then Glock 33 rounders. So, I mean, I can go on all day, but I digress. Anyways, a thing to look for when you go and decide you want to either build or outright buy a 300 Blackout rifle, in my honest opinion, if you're going to go with 300 Blackout, going with an actual genuine AAC upper receiver is probably the way to go. You can build your own. I don't have nothing against it. I've built a boatload of rifles, but when I wanted to go into 300 Blackout, I wanted something from the factory, from the manufacturer that actually came up with a round in general. Okay, so one thing a lot of people don't talk about when going to 300 Blackout, that's the biggest con or the biggest pro, however you look at it, is that the ammunition that it shoots 300 Blackout are 7.62 by 50. Hold on, excuse me, 50. 50. Fucking what am I? 35 millimeter. I should have already known that. Anyways, the biggest con to that is the fact that 5.56 or a 300 Blackout, should I say, can accidentally chamber into a 5.56 gun. And I don't know about you, but if you pull the trigger on that, you're going to have a pretty good kaboom in your face. You can accidentally chamber a 5.56 round into 300 Blackout, and if you pull the trigger, most likely it's not going to kaboom in your face because the diameter of the bore has enough clearance to allow the projectile of a 5.56 to run on through. But if you flip that over on the other side, trying to squeeze a 300 Blackout down a 5.56 gun, there's nowhere for that lead to go besides it blow up in your face. Okay, so buying different types of magazines and marking them for 300 Blackout. In this case, I have 220 grain ammunition loaded up, Remington, and I've got subs here, so I know that when I throw my suppressor on, it's not gonna be as loud as full sonic loads. A lot of people have a misconception about grains, like higher grain weight on your bullet is more lethal. Well, that's just not the case. When you shoot 220 grains, you're not breaking the sound barrier, thus you're not creating a sonic crackle when you shoot suppressed. Okay? That's the whole beauty of the system. You can go to a full sonic load and take, shots out to 300-400 yards if you're competent enough to do that. Or you can switch to subsonics and use it for a CQB operation. Okay? But anyways, another thing to look for is my biggest concern was freaking pinned low-profile gas blocks. I'm completely against having a gas block that is not pinned into the barrel. Okay, I've seen a boatload of people use freaking gas blocks that were screwed. They've Loctited them, put freaking rock set on the screws, and I've seen time and time again have some slippage, and then when the gas hole in your barrel doesn't match up with the gas port in your gas block, you're gonna have a bolt action gun. It's not gonna cycle. Excuse me, my freaking watch is going off. But anyways, it's a lot more expensive to shoot than 5.56. But if your budget allows, it's a badass firing cartridge. In my opinion, it's a lot better than 6.8. because for one, I don't know 6.8 shitty purpose cartridge. Excuse me, special purpose cartridge even has a subsonic counterpart. 5.56 doesn't really have subsonic ammunition unless it's custom loaded from some weird freaking manufacturer, and it most likely is not going to cycle it reliably unless you have like a adjustable gas port thingy majiggy. Anyways, I've been really happy with my 300 Blackout. This one came with the 51 tooth mount, the 5/8 by 24 thread pitch for 300 Blackout, and I also got a 7.62 SD suppressor versus the 7.62 SD in 6. And the reason why I went with the 7.62 SD, you have more internal volume in this suppressor, and it's better suited for a 308 rifle. So I can put this on now. It does stick out a little bit longer. Okay. So I'll just crank this on. Okay. Anyways, it does stick out a little longer. Adds a little bit more performance just because it has more internal volume. And also, a lot of people don't really talk about this when they discuss 300 Blackout with suppressors, is that when I shoot subsonic ammunition, I put a little bit of water in the very first blast baffle, like you would a pistol can. And I'm telling you what, it quietens it down like superior. I'm talking about all you hear, the loudest part of it is the cycle action, the bolt moving back and forth in the buffer tube, and the bullet hitting whatever you're shooting. So if you hit the dirt or hit something, a block of wood or something like that, it's making more racket than the gun even firing. Okay, to me that is just badass. And 220 grain subsonic has it's actually can pierce body armor. I've got videos of shooting level 3A with subsonic 220 grain just because of the nature of the round, and I guess it has something to do with it because it's a pointy tipped rifle round. Okay, it has ass load of kinetic energy. In my opinion, if you compare it to 230 grain 45 and then 220 grain 300 Blackout, 300 Blackout's just the way to go. You know what I'm talking about? You got the HK UMP 45 or UMP 45. To me, this is superior. This is superior to an MP5, even the MP5 SD. In my opinion, it's quieter than the MP5 SD. I've got to play around with some MP5s. This is an overall good shooting gun. I mean, the whole concept kind of replaced a lot of the CQP type of rifles. Okay, when you're looking at stuff like the MP5 and MPX and all these other, like even the P90. Now the P90 is a badass gun. Don't get me wrong, but this here gives you the ability to have a full size cartridge and have something that you can bust door downs, LE style, SWAT team style, and also be able to go out long range. The only thing you have to overcome is that once you load, if you got your red dot or scope or what have you zeroed for full sonic loads and you switch to subsonics, unless you're using like one of those Leopold scopes that have both calibration for subsonic and full sonic loads, they have two different reticles in the scope within the same reticle tree. Anyways, y'all can look that up. But basically, I mean, when I'm shooting 220 grains, I'm most likely I'm just going to be shooting it out to 100 yards. If I need to go further than that, I'll drop the mag and put some 115 or 125 grains in there and shoot some full sonic loads. I was surprised that 300 Blackout, even the full sonic loads out of the 9-inch gun, wasn't able to set off the tannerite. I had to switch over to some M855 to detonate the tannerite out of a 11.5-inch 5.56 gun. But like I said earlier, if you're not planning on suppressing your 300 Blackout rifle and you're planning on getting 300 Blackout and you don't have a plan to even suppress it, you're losing about like 95% of the whole reason to even go to 300 Blackout, in my honest opinion. The whole concept over this freaking setup here is to basically replace all the subguns in the subgun category. Once you have something like this, I mean, the need for an MP5 or a P90 or HK MP7 and some of those other shits out there, which those are really good guns, don't get me wrong, I've got them too. It's just you have one gun that can fit the bill for a majority of roles. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I played with AKs and ARs and M1 Garands and freaking P90s, Styrogs. I mean, the list goes on. And at the end of the day, I just keep coming back to the AR-15 design overall and the AK design. And those two rifles pretty much are the to-go rifles. Like, if something really happened, like the economy collapse, nuclear war, like some real like DayZ type of shit. I don't know if any of y'all played DayZ before, but if y'all played that game, you know what I'm talking about. Where like it's 100% survivalist, shit. Like it's just bad. You know what I mean? Chances are it'd be either an AK or an AR that I'd be grabbing to take with me. It'd be a shame to just leave the other guns behind, but I mean, you really need to look at getting a pistol too. But I digress, extremely digression right there. Anyways, if you buy one of these upper receivers directly from AAC, or you can actually go online and find the whole gun assembled. It comes with the AAC lower, AAC upper. It's got a Geisley, I think two stage trigger, what have you in there. It could be a really good rifle. You can hunt with it, I think you'd be really happy with it. But overall, in general, if 300 Blackout would just come down in price a little bit more, okay, if it would just come down a little bit more, I do believe that it has the ability to become maybe more popular than 5.56. We're about to have an assload of M855, cheap M855, come down in surplus because the United States militaries on all branches are switching from the M855 to the M855A1, which is a all lead-free round. So all these ammunition that's on the surplus market is going to be unloaded sooner or later. I don't know when that's going to be. Anyways, it's just basically if you're going to build your own 300 Blackout, all you need is a barrel, and it comes with its own gas block and gas tube, and pretty much all you need is that. Okay, so that's pretty much it. If you're thinking about getting a little setup like this, I would just suggest getting an AAC MPW 9-inch. If your state doesn't allow you to have fun stuff, then you can get the 16-inch or the 12-inch and pin on some bullshit on there. Suppressors, I'm telling you what, full auto is fun, but at the end of the day, suppressors is where it's at. I hate to say it. I mean, full auto is just fun as hell, but you got to think about really in military warfare, how often is full auto really used, like in the belt feds and shit like that. Every video I've seen on LiveLink and have discussed full auto with guys that have been there and done that, I mean, it's just they really never use it in their service rifles. Maybe in the belt feds and shit for suppressive fire. But precision fire is the way it goes. You know what I mean? Anyways, I've rambled on long enough. If you're thinking about doing a 300 Blackout build, I would suggest that you add a suppressor on it, because that's the whole reason that I even went to 300 Blackout. Anyways, that's pretty much the end of the video. If you have any questions, comment, let me know. See you bitches later.